Yes, Monday.
Wow.
2 days, yeah.
You really? Are you ready?
I think so. I've given the same type of presentation a few times, but it's definitely like a more serious audience now, and I'm a little bit nervous. Any advice?
So presentations are absolutely critical for representing you and your business in the way that you want to be represented. So I think to give a killer presentation, there's only a couple of things you need to remember. The first thing is when you're putting your slides together that you're going to have, make sure that there's more visuals and less words. I see a lot of people that put everything they're going to say on the visual, and instead you want to have pictures and you want to have things that are sort of easy to identify with, because you don't want people reading your slide, you want them listening to what you have to say. That's probably the first thing to remember. The second is make sure you're telling a story, that every page leads to the next page that leads to the next page. It's almost like you are storytelling with whatever your presentation is. It'll come across so much more compelling than a sort of a series of charts that don't have anything to do with one another. So you kind of weaving that story so the audience doesn't have to. Make sure that you're not reading from notes if you can. It really is helpful if you're really gauging the eye contact of the audience when you're speaking, because then you can adjust. If people are not understanding, if they're not listening, you can really get that, as opposed to if you're looking down at your notes to see what you're going to say, your audience can go all kinds of different places. And I also find that if you're looking at your audience, it compels them to look at you and be more engaged in the discussion versus if you're looking at your notes. Always stand when you give a presentation, because you have much higher energy and you're really going to come across much more enthusiastic about the material. Sometimes when you're sitting, it's easier to get sort of in a little bit more of a slump as opposed to this bigness of the presentation. And the final thing, you've probably done this since you've given this presentation before, but practice, practice, practice. The more prepared that you are going into a presentation, the more you're going to come across professional, the more knowledgeable you're going to be about your content, and the more confidence you're going to have. And all those things are going to come together to really be the best presentation that you could ever give.